Chapter 3. Council Station System Edge of Light Space. January 31st, 3506. As Lan Ha stepped out of the craft that had carried her to freedom, she was met by an unexpected sight, that of the human ambassador and a small entourage of what looked like officers of human Larashi and Calarius. However, the most surprising to her was that the highest-ranked officer, from what she could tell, was a Katvalan of gray fur and unglossed eyes. "Ambassador Lan Ha, it is a pleasure to have you on board my ship. Welcome to the Endeavor," the Katval officer said while bowing his head. "I am Admiral Kiathifan of the Calarius Corps Fleet. I must say, when I was given my orders, I wasn't sure if the brass had lost their Kilula Lans," he said, stepping a bit forward. "But your address in the council meeting and your declaration to the Emperor had been as your grandfather did. The flame of independence and freedom has been lit anew." Lan Ha watched this unknown admiral for a moment, then let out a controlled and steady breath. "As the heiress to the throne, I wish more than anyone to see our people prosper, but that oversized marsupial had to be an idiot just like his father. I will not see our people die for a war we should not have started." She placed a hand on the admiral's shoulder and bobbed her head. "Moreover, I am sick of watching those morons grow fat through our hard work. We were there first, and now we will be the first to break our chains and the chains of any other that wishes." She paused and looked to the Terrans, "for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." "Well said, Lan Ha," Rout said. A human admiral, whom Lan Ha recognized from somewhere, looked over with a wide grin. Bold yet appealing choice of words. There were a few more encouraging words. "Admiral Kiathifan, the soldier that rescued me, said my mother was also rescued. I would like to go see her." The admiral looked over to Raut. "The Terrans are the ones that completed that rescue. Perhaps Ambassador Raut knows where she is." Lan Ha looked at the humans. Surely it was a mistake. The human fleet couldn't have done it. They were still too small to breach the defense of Calmi, let alone reach the palace. "How much did humanity lose to free my mother?" she asked, dreading the answer. "One light cargo ship," said the human admiral. "What my counterpart meant was that the extraction of your mother was handled by a special operation team, who also faked their deaths at the edge of the Calmi system by intentionally detonating a reactor of a light cargo ship." Rout chimed in immediately. "She is currently being transported back to Terran space and will be staying with one of our senators. However, she has declared you as the Katvalan leader for this war. So we can't take you to her yet," Kiathifan said. "That changes things," Lan Ha said before turning to the admiral. "Can you send a message toward the Empire on all frequencies?" "Of course, and we have taken the liberty to set up a spot for a video message to be sent, not just audio," the elderly Katvalan said with a glint of joy. "But first, let's get into FPTL towards the Calarius technocracy. The Council Defense Fleet is following the trail of the boarding pod, and I am under orders to make that trail disappear." In FTL jump to the Calarius border system. KTSS Endeavor Utility Room 3 Lan Ha was now dressed in a well-made battle dress uniform of her people's old military. She had been given time to change and freshen herself, but the weight of the responsibility of her next actions would make or break the lines of her people. Most will listen to her message, and so would some of the other contracted races. But some wouldn't. Her people will be divided, and unlike the Galavrek and Kioshin, that line will be blared, as families will be divided. A tech behind the camera started the countdown. A green light came on as the count hit 0. "My people, and all second and third citizens of the Kalmazar Empire, and all their contracted allies. I am former Ambassador Lan Ha, and I have an important message. Today, after 1,520 loops, I am declaring war on the Kalmazar Empire. This is a war for our independence, for our freedom, for our future. The reason for this war is that the current emperor has failed to see the dangers he has placed his sovereignty in. He has chosen to indirectly declare war on the Terran Union, a race that I concluded the Empire could not win against. This war would have our people bleed by the trillions, and our worlds and people suffer needlessly. I implore all those who wish freedom to take back the reins and come to my people's ancient and hallowed homeworld. To the glassed world of Katmaris, Come and join this call to arms. A call for justice, a call for freedom, a call for liberty, and the rightful pursuit of happiness. Let today be the sounding of the war horns, the crack of the thunderous war cry. Let none stand against this. War has come to the empire of opportunists, and let them break against those who will accept nothing less than freedom. The light on the camera switched back to yellow, and a new pit formed in Lanha's stomach. Terran War Room, Earth, Sol System. January 31st, 3506, Commander-in-Chief of the Terran Union looked out at the assembled admirals, generals, and diplomats. He was now going to have to make a decision about how to go about these two wars. On one hand, the Katval people have a right to be free, and on the other, the Terran Union swore to help protect the Kioshian Citizens' Republic. And yet he had to also consider defending the home front from yet-to-be-seen actors. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said in a claiming tone, "our Union is at war. Our garrison forces at the KCR have reported the implantation of a plan called—" He looked down at his notes. "Fabian Void." He cocked his eyebrow at the name for a brief moment. "The 1st to 4th QRF fleets are assisting them, and the likelihood of them needing more help is unlikely. And the Katvalans are going to be supplied by the Kalaruas technocracy, and the Larashi Star Conclave has deployed 2 of their fleets to take and form a foothold in the Kalmazar Empire. That takes the pressure off us, but we need to accept 2 things." He looked out to the whole of the room. 1. We don't know if there are other nations that will attack us. And 2. We don't know how or where the Kalmazar Empire will attack. We have 3 fleets in combat-ready status and an additional 5 good for defense but undersupplied, and 3 more currently being built up. "So where does that leave us?" he asked, though no one answered. Fucked if someone jumps in if we commit everything, or pirates decide they want to try their luck again. So here is the plan. Fleets 4 and 5 will go and reinforce the QRF fleets in the Kioshian front. Fleets 1 and 2 will go and help the Katval on that front, and the rest are staying put for now. In the meantime, I'll start pushing for war status to the Union. See about getting those nitwits off their butts and finishing our fleets." He gave a few of them one last glance. "Let's get this done." Dismissed. Chapter 4. The Katval System, Kioshian Citizens Republic, Galavrik Kioshian Front, February 1st, 3506, 1020 KCRS Nidrahian, Hopeful Child. High Princess Kyla, Grand Admiral of the First Fleet, sat in her command station and wondered. In her musings, she questioned if her brother was right, or if the whole war could have been avoided. She wondered if her people could have been spared the horrors of the final night. She wondered if her father ever did have the ability to surrender. Her thoughts and pondering were cut short as an intel officer nearly jumped out of her seat as an alert blew a monotone sound. "Admiral, we have 3 groups of FTL arrival signatures coming in the system, 29 giga units away. Number of ships unknown," the startled officer said as they read off the information. "Comms," Kyla called out. "Nothing on schedule, ma'am. Switch to standby alert for all ships and send a tight beam to Galamar," Kyla said, and she leaned back into her chair. "This will be the opening battle of this war, and will set the tone for this war. She had to win not just for herself, but also for her people." "Comms, be ready to hail their flagship. Intel, I want numbers and ship types the second the exit FTL. Weapons, active everything but stay powered down on the main cannons. Engineering, power up the shields," Kyla ordered. Some of her officers were already at the tasks, but she wasn't about to second-guess what they were doing. "Comms, when ready, open a channel to all ships and the planetary defenses." "Channel open, ma'am." Kyla took in a deep breath, her mind racing, but right now she had to have a clear head. "Sailors and soldiers of the Kioshian Citizens Republic. In a few nano-units, a cluster of unknown FTL signatures appeared on sensors. I have no doubt that these are fallen brethren. Those who have failed to see the passing of time and hold stubbornly to a glorified version of our history. But we are the defenders of our new nation, one where everyone lives free, one where a person's course in life is determined by their will and drive for success. Through this change, my eyes have been opened. I see a bright, brilliant golden age, and I will fight for that age and for that future. So I ask, will you fight with me?" "Ma'am, all ships and ground stations are hailing back." "Yes, we will," the comms informed her. "Ma'am, UFCs are arriving. said the intel officer. "Thank you both. Now report intel, what are we up against?" Kyla said back, 3 battle groups of 50 ships plus 2 transport fleets of 30 each. Profiles match with modified Galavrik Gallons and Kalmazar battle cruisers. The transport fleet is composed completely of Kalmazar assault transports. Ma'am. Comms? Hailing now, ma'am, the comms officer said. Channel open. Unidentified flotilla, this is Grand Admiral Kyla. You will deactivate your drives and declare your intention, Kyla said at a terminal by her seat. There was an uncomfortable moment before the terminal flickered to life, and the image of a middle-aged Galavrik admiral looked at Kyla. This is Admiral Jais. You and your fleet will surrender immediately. You are in possession of stolen territory and people. You will accept your place in the serfs of the Galavrik Imperium. Admiral Jace, I find your request unacceptable, but I will say this. Surrender. Save the lives of you and your men. You will be treated fairly and provided for. I don't want to fight you. Kyla said back, Surrender? I outnumber your fleet by a factor of 3 to 1, and that's not including the transport fleet. Admiral Jais said. Very well, I will keep this channel free for your surrender, Kyla said before terminating the hail. Nav, get us at max range. Kyla barked. Weapons, power up everything. Fleet, deploy all wings. Comms, tell the fleet to follow and prepare to engage. Yes, ma'am, responded the officers. She watched as the fleet began to move in formation, as fighters and bombers dusted off and took a position in the gaps between the massive ships. She was outnumbered. Her 50-strong fleet would have to knock out 3 each just to draw out this fight. But her ships are human ships modified to work with their anatomy. 10 carriers, 4 battle cruisers, 5 destroyers, and a quote-butt load of frigates. She didn't have the numerical advantage, but she did have the quality advantage. Fleet, I want all fighters and bombers to attack their transport fleets as soon as they start moving. Relay to all wings. Weapons, open with the MACs and follow up with the Shredder missiles. Comms, contact Catval and tell the ground HQ that they may have company. She studied the TAC map. Now let's show them what KCRS Nidurhian can do. At 10 giga units, the ships groaned as the 3 MACs fired. The rest of her fleet was a second behind. Then the battle commenced. Now would be her hour. Now was the time of her rise. Deep space, outside Kioshian Citizens Republic. Galavrik, Kioshian Front, February 1st, 3506. 10:35 TUS. Wake the Void. So that's their comms relay, right? Master Gunnery Sergeant Barker asked. Appears so, said Captain Holt. Not that it matters. We are here to make it a pain in the prince's ass. Great, fire up the railgun and let go, said the Master Gunnery Sergeant. Can't, the captain said back. Orders to knock out but not destroy. So what do you think we should do, Marine? Well, according to Daniel, they don't know we are here, right? Barker asked. Yep. And we need as much intel that thing has without blowing it up. Barker continued. Yep. Easy. Me and the boys go and breach through 2 airlocks. Just before we start our approach, you fire shredders at their antenna and exposed weapons. We breach, kill everyone inside, and download all their databases, said Barker. Their tone and energy completely offset the fact they want to launch ordnance and assault crafts at the same time and attack a station in deep space that may or may not be rigged to self-destruct, and breach 2 airlocks while possibly taking fire from unseen weapons platforms. And all the while, Captain Holt could only smile. He loved insane plans, and former Sergeant Major Barker was the craziest Marine he had ever met. Sounds perfect. I'll get things ready. You go get your men ready. If this all goes to plan, they will have the intel and complete their mission here. But Barker is leading the Marines, so odds are that a few things will go wrong. Deep space, outside Kioshian Citizens Republic. Galavrik, Kioshian Front, February 1st, 3506, 1040. On board, the assault craft was cramped with 14 Marines ready to pounce. Barker looked around at her men and smiled. All of them were the nutcases that stuck around because, according to them, shit goes foobar for her in the best way. She didn't mind it. Sure, she got demoted, but her last mission was a clusterfuck, and she did her best to finish the mission and get her men out. No one was expecting a bunch of pirates to be good marksmen or to have heavy weapons. Just like how no one was ready for all 4 lieutenants and their captain to take anti-personnel rounds to the face within the first 5 minutes. or for their transport to be blown to Kingdom Come the second they got to their LZ, or that the pirates would deploy a comms jammer and a defense shield over their base. But she did it. She rallied the Marines, collapsed a tower, recovered the kidnapped civilians, and extracted everyone, even the dead. Head-up Intel believes that this comm station is relaying data for the ongoing battle in Kakval, said the co-pilot over the intercom. Confirmed, ETA, said Barker. 1 minute, shredders are about to impact, informed the pilot. Helmets on, get ready to space it. Alpha, Bravo, we have airlock 1. Charlie, Delta, airlock 2. Breach in 5 mics. Weapons free, but avoid collateral damage. Everyone got their helmets on and checked their weapons. Their void suit was sealed with a hiss and hum as the air in the cabin left an eerie silence. A few had to recheck their suits and lock down leaks. After the last checks were completed, Barker slammed her fist on the pilot door. Less than a second later, the magnetic locks of the assault craft were released, and the 2 side doors opened, exposing the Marines to the vacuum of deep space. In the back of her mind, only one thought played out. I wonder if they have an automatic sealing system.